Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies, a podcast where we discuss all things related to the Happier and Happier in Hollywood podcasts.
We're sisters
And super fans
who can't get enough happier.
So we created our own podcast to keep the conversation going.
I'm Malika Amandi, a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a new mom, and an entrepreneur. I'm here with my sister, Azizi Williams.
That's me. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a not-so-new mom, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. In this episode, we discuss ways to elevate your lunch break, and then I share about my recent adventure in nature.
So, Azizi, I just got back from Montreal.
I know, you just got back from Montreal.
Moments ago.
How was it?
It was so fun. I loved it. I'm totally going to go back again and again and again.
Oh.
It's just what I was hoping for.
Yay, that's awesome. I'm excited you got to have like a real vacation.
I mean, it was brief. It was a weekend with a toddler. I wouldn't call it a vacation as much as an excursion.
Okay. But it sounds like it was impactful.
It was. We packed a lot in. We had good weather, and it was just fun. I kind of knew that I wanted to go to see if we would be able to go, kind of hoping it would be a place I'd want to return to. So I feel like we just scratched the surface, but it's like not that far of a drive, and it feels like you're in a totally different country because you are. And I really enjoyed it.
Wow. I feel like, I've seen a couple of pictures, and I don't think it comes across how special it is, but I can tell by how excited you are that it really is a special place. So I look forward to maybe seeing it one day too.
Yeah, I think we'll go. In my mind, I'm like, oh, this is a place I can bring Azizi, and mommy and daddy, I think, would like it. You know, it's a good place to go from here because it's not that far. But again, it's like going to Europe. You know, it has that much of a different vibe. Great trip. And I'll share more as I settle in.
Yeah, you need time to process. We're going to be there probably around winter break, I'm thinking. So maybe it's an excursion we could take while we're out there with you.
So, Azizi, what happened on Happier?
On Happier and More Happier, episode 483, Gretchen and Liz share listener suggestions for the summer, and they address a listener question about a coworker challenge. On More Happier, they discuss a personal style strategy. They talk about fictional worlds they would want to visit, and they share the joys of discovering a new identity. Malika, was there a summer hack that stood out to you?
The one that really caught me was about using biofreeze on your back on a hot day, like if you're out and about. And I don't know this product, but I'm guessing maybe there's menthol in it or something like that for sore muscles. I'll look more into it. But just having like a stick that's going to help you feel cooler. I think those kind of creature comforts, any little thing to take the edge off. You know, we're going to be in DC in July. So I think this product is going to come in handy.
Add that to the summer soul list. You know, I probably told you about this, or maybe I shared it with you. I am a fan of Dr. Bronner's Magic Balm. I think they still make it. And it has a eucalyptus peppermint, like minty kind of vibe to it also. And you just can put it anywhere. Same idea. And good for kids, so that if they're complaining, you just swipe a little on the back, they're good. So I like those kinds of, products you could just stash away.
What stood out to you?
Sunscreen everywhere. So a basket by the door. I definitely need some for my office, some for the car. So it's time for me to stock up on sunscreen. And then finally, it's time for me to try a packing cube. The universe is telling me,
oh boy,
try packing cubes. I've resisted long enough. So I have a lot of travel coming up. It's time to try packing cubes.
I don't understand why you've resisted so long. I mean, we've been on this for a year now. They're so great.
I don't like it when everyone's telling me to do something.
I get it.
Then I just maybe I dig in a little bit because how great can it be? But I haven't heard one person say it wasn't worth it. So the evidence is clear now. I'm going to jump on.
I think you'll like them.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will.
So they also talked about what fictional world would you want to visit or live in if you could choose anything from a book or a movie? Where would you go, Azizi?
So many thoughts about this. First of all, it was very exciting because they talked about Disneyland. And
Yes.
Liz talked about visiting the Star Wars portion of it. And first of all, Disneyland in and of itself is immersing yourself in a fictional world.
That's true.
And the Star Wars part is called Galaxy's Edge, and it really is amazing. But if I was going to visit a place that doesn't exist, I think I would want to go to the Willy Wonka factory, that whole world, the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka world, not the Johnny Depp one, but the Gene Wilder one. However, when I thought about it, like bad things happen to the
Right.
people who visit. So maybe I just want to visit the gift shop. I just want to see what's in the gift shop. Maybe I don't actually want to go on the factory tour, but I was obsessed with that movie when I was a kid. So definitely that's on my list. And then also maybe Bridgerton, like a ball with really good music and a fancy dress.
Mm.
That sounds like fun. What about you?
I think there are a lot of places. The first thing that came to mind is this show, Virgin River on Netflix, that I got
Mm.
into. It's very kind of soapy, and I don't know why I like it. It's a little melodramatic, but anyway, it's set in this fictional Northern California town called Virgin River, and it's just
Mm.
gorgeous. There's so many just drone shots of sweeping landscapes and rivers, and the town is very like they have lots of festivals. It's like a small town community vibe, and everybody wears flannel,
Mm.
and I'm not quite sure why that appeals to me. It's not my normal
Okay.
life or like what I gravitate
Right.
towards in real life, but somehow
Right.
the fictional world of it is just really fun and wholesome.
Well, I thought you might say like the Gilmore Girls world.
That also came to mind very quickly. Stars Hollow.
I think there's some crossover probably
There
in
is.
those two
It's
places.
true.
Flannel might be. I don't know.
I would love to go to Stars Hollow and hang out in Luke's Diner and go to one of the
Mm.
festivals that they have. There's a lot of festivals in both of these shows.
You like a play festival. That's awesome. So, in this episode, they also talked about identity and the joy of having a new identity or, discovering a new identity. And for me, I've recently adopted the Disney adult identity. Also, I can think that I'm a parent of older children. That
Mm,
feels distinctly like a different phase. I'm a wife. I'm going to be celebrating my 2-year anniversary in
mm,
July.
that's
So
right.
that's a new identity also. And of course, we're podcasters now somehow. So that's a new identity. Do you have any identities that are new for you?
Yeah, this was a really provocative question or thought provoking question. I think because I'm fresh off of this trip, one of the identities that got stirred up in me is like somebody who speaks French. And I do speak French. It's not the best, it's functional, but I think it was fun to be in a city that is truly bilingual. So people would just
Mhm.
address you in French. And if you answered in English, there was no judgment or side eye. It was just like
Mm.
they would switch to English or vice versa. It was just
Mhm.
everybody kind of speaks both languages, which I think is a great city to try or to like expand your language in. Cause I think when I was in Paris, I had to speak French to get by, but it was very bad. And often people corrected me and like I would feel embarrassed. And I was also younger. But I think I was just reminded, like, oh, I would really love to be truly bilingual. And now having a place that's
Mm.
a little bit closer than going to France, where I could really actually practice and lean into that, that feels motivating. Liz talked about how she has this identity of being a mahjong player. And so she has to play mahjong in order to be that, right? So I
Mhm.
feel like, oh, well, I have to speak French if I'm going to be a French speaker. And having a
Mhm.
destination, it makes it less theoretical. Like, I actually have something to prepare for and a place to practice. And
Yes.
that feels exciting and expansive. I think this question also made me think about the identities I have that are important to me that I don't feel connected to right now. And I think one of those is my actor identity. That's definitely something, it's on my 24 for 24 list that I really want to find a way to live into again because for so long it was my primary identity and it's really faded
Mm.
into the background, but it's not gone. But it's just like under
Mhm.
layers of other things.
That's something that you've talked about before, and you did take an improv class, right?
I took one class last year.
Oh, it's last year
Yes, that
already.
was the 23 for 23. So,
Oh,
yes.
I guess it's time to find something else. Going back to the Montreal experience, it sounds like you wanna have the identity of being
Yes.
bilingual, or maybe you already feel like you are bilingual.
I would never say that.
No. Okay. Okay, got it. But you're motivated now to work on that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Well, maybe, last time we were talking about going to Paris, but maybe we need to plan a big trip to Montreal.
I mean, that's a little more realistic. To be honest, we could probably afford that.
We just said we could do it during winter break, but I mean like a really big fancy trip to Montreal. Maybe we go all in there. I'm inspired by your Montreal trip. And for the podcaster identity, I have found some conferences. Liz and Gretchen talked about when they went
Ooh.
to a podcaster conference and how that was a big revelation for them. And I just Googled it and it turns out there's a lot of them. So we should pick one, Malika, and meet up there and, do a deep dive.
Yeah, I think that would help us a lot. We're still forming our podcaster identity. It's young.
That would help to see what that world is like on the inside.
Yeah. So, another topic they covered in More Happier was around personal style. Liz recommended a hack from Allison Bornstein, who's a stylist, and it's about picking 3 words to describe your personal aesthetic. So, the first word is practical, the second word is aspirational, and the third word is emotional. So Liz shared her 3 words, which were current, clean, and confident. And I love this hack because,
Hmm.
I mean, again, I'm on this personal style journey and I like a practical exercise to help you understand something about yourself. So I feel like we should mull this over and we should reveal our 3 adjectives as easy when we do our festival of style on a future episode.
Sounds like a good challenge. I have to wrestle with like what is an aspirational word related to fashion.
Yes.
I have to first figure out how to define these and then what do I want it to be? It feels so definitive. It feels like you're creating a box for yourself.
You are, says the questioner.
But I was going to say I see how that could be also be freeing.
Yes.
You have to decide what you're not, to know
Yes.
who you are. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the exercise.
On our drive, I was kind of pressing Norm to answer this question. It was really challenging.
Yes. I'm sure he loved that.
He said, like, I don't know. And I was like, that's not acceptable. It was a really good conversation starter. And I learned some things about his style or what he aspires to that I just had never known. So I think it's a good get to know you
Mm.
question.
I was gonna say that. This makes me think it could be a good icebreaker
Yeah.
or like a go around at a retreat or something
Yeah.
to help you get to know people. Maybe just choosing
Right.
one of the words instead of 3. Love that. What happened on Happier in Hollywood, Malika?
On Happier in Hollywood, episode 367, Liz and Sarah have a conversation with a comedy editor. They share hits and bombs, and they discuss how to upgrade something that's plain to make it unique.
One of the things they talked about was I can't remember who gave a hit to Hacks.
It was a public service announcement.
It was at yes, that's right. It was at the top that the new season of Hacks is on Max, and I love Hacks. It's actually one of the new shows that I watch, and I watch it because my daughters watch it together. So my oldest daughter Ilea is back home, and Ilea and I have certain shows they like to watch together. Hacks is one of them, and so I just happen to be there. I'm in the vicinity, and I watch it alongside them. And it's the one show that I can enjoy because I feel like it's the right kind of intensity. There's a little bit of intensity, there's some drama, but no one's really in trouble or going to be harmed, you
Yeah.
know? Unlike I tried to watch The Bear and too much intensity. And they watched the show called Beef, way too much intensity. Oh my goodness. But Hacks, love it.
I love it because I love the inside of the performer's journey and following somebody who has this huge comedy career, but is facing her own demons and challenges to kind of evolve and getting deeper into revealing her story and all of this. It ties into a lot of like performer, artist, creator themes that I think are really fascinating and really emotionally gritty material.
Hmm.
That's what I enjoy about it.
It's also set in Las Vegas, which I love. And I know Las Vegas is kind of polarizing. Some people hate it, but I'm in the camp that loves it. And you don't often get to go deep and see where people actually live
Right.
in Vegas or how they actually work, all the nuances around Las Vegas. So I appreciate that side of it too. On this episode, Sarah and Liz talk about how you can take something plain and make it special by adding your own sort of unique flair. And they described one of their colleagues who attended their retreat, how she makes everything Stranger Things or Harry Potter accented. So she adds a little flair that's either connected to Stranger Things or Harry Potter to something that is actually quite plain or something that was sort of cheap and not very special. But when she adds that flair to it, it makes it really feel special and personal. And so then they talked about how Liz had a lightning bolt symbol that she wanted to incorporate into everything that she owned or into a lot of the things that she wore for a while. And so that made me think, do you have a symbol, Malika, that you would want to incorporate, or is there something that comes to mind for you?
I don't know. This is one of those things I think we should revisit in our style episode. The first thing that comes to mind is a color. So having the color purple, but somehow feels like something else, that's like a signature color. I think the symbol thing is a little bit more specific, and I don't know what that is for me. What about you?
Yeah, the color is actually something else. It's a color. It's not the same as a symbol. I mean, I would say really this year, I've gone down the rabbit hole of Hello Kitty. I love cute things, like very cute. Yeah, I just love Hello Kitty. I don't know. I grew up with it when I was, fourth, fifth grade. It was something that I coveted that I couldn't really have. And so now I get to have it. So that's definitely something I like. However, I wouldn't want it on
Mhm.
everything. And I wouldn't want it, it doesn't quite fit in all the places that I inhabit. So I think I want to dig for something else. I really do. I think I want to try to find some other kind of personal thing that really then people associate with me.
There could be a way with Sanrio or with Hello Kitty and Disney, like having a more sophisticated version that was a little bit more subtle for those other spaces, that you would know it was
Yeah.
connected to those things. And maybe others would if they really knew, but it wouldn't be like overt.
Well, something that comes to mind is I really like rainbows with like the
Hmm.
clouds on the other ends, like an actual rainbow. I just love the colors. It makes me feel happy. So maybe something in that space that's not so connected specifically with a
Hmm.
brand, but is just more a recognizable symbol. So something that I'm going to think about. I like this future style episode where we solve all the problems and have all the answers. This future style episode sounds fantastic. Can't wait.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about how to elevate a moment in your workday. Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
Well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready-to-go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
We are back, and our next segment is Speaking of Work, where we discuss observations about our professional lives. So we've talked a little bit about romanticizing your office and bringing in the five senses to make your work environment a really kind of pleasurable experience. And in this segment today, we want to dig a little bit deeper into lunch specifically. So, how to make the most of your midday meal. I feel that a romantic lunch is an abundant lunch. So, let's talk about some ideas to do that.
Yes. And Monica, I think you too. I mean, we go into the office. We are maybe a part of a rare breed, or maybe it's a growing again breed. I don't know. But I have to actually go to the office most days, Monday through Friday. And I've found that having a good lunch makes that day a little bit brighter. Not that it's not bright at work. It is lovely at work. I love my job. However, having something to look forward to makes it even better. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to share what you can do, or what listeners can do to make their lunch even more romantic.
Start us off, Azizi. What can we do?
So the first thing we can do is think about the vessel that the lunch is coming in. And there are so many beautiful options for lunch pails or lunch bags these days. I will put in the episode description the one that I settled on, but it's purple. It's got flowers on it. It's quite large so that it can fit every size container that I could possibly, put in there. But starting with a lunch bag that you really like, that feels like you, is important. And then I also have utensils, like a special utensil set that has this cute case that goes in there with the real fork, knife, and spoon. I have cloth napkins. This is something that I look for when I'm out, either when I'm thrifting or, even if I'm at a high end kind of store, I'll often afford a napkin. Maybe I can't afford the couch, but I can afford a fancy napkin at Sur La Table, So I have different cloth napkins. I don't have a whole set necessarily. Maybe I just have one, but that is something special that goes into my lunchbox that makes me happy. It brightens my day when I pull it out. So I recommend a nice lunch bag, utensil set, and a cloth napkin as a part of your lunch set.
On a side note, did you get those cloth napkins I sent you? I don't know that we talked about them.
The hankies? Yes, I have them. That does not go in my lunch. That goes in my purse. That is different, but I use one today. I love them. Thank you.
Oh, good. So another idea is to find a different location that's not your desk. Now, this depends on your office setup or your work situation where you can go during your lunch. But if you have the ability to leave the building that you're typically in, that's just going to take it up so many notches. Just that right there. To be outside, if the weather is nice, is really great. I think just changing it up, something different, because I find when I eat lunch in my office, it doesn't feel like a real break. It feels like I'm still kind of working, and it's nice to just have a completely different environment when you can, to make that time stand out.
Another thing is to focus on fun snacks, maybe fun, whimsical things that you don't usually purchase or see in regular supermarkets. I am a fan of World Market. I feel like I've talked about them before. They have a whole area where they have small sizes of different kinds of international snacks or just fancy snacks. And I think the intention is for you to be able to make a gift basket with them, but they're each like maybe $1, $1.50 to maybe $3. And they're these single serving sizes of different things from all over the world. So when I was there last, I picked up this little can of Spanish nuts. I picked up some garlic lemon olives, and I picked up some tahine gummy bears, all in these individual packages, and add those to my lunch, throughout the week, which is a fun sort of whimsical treat to taste as a part of your lunch. So I would incorporate some fun snacks.
So this next suggestion came to me through one of my dear friends. I have to give her credit, Amy Lynn, for her sandwich hack. So in grad school,
Yay.
we would have lunch. You bring your lunch. Sometimes you buy your lunch. Amy Lynn almost always brought her lunch, and she would have a sandwich. And the sandwich would be cut into two parts, but instead of being cut like imagine a typical square piece of bread. Instead of the sandwich being cut like diagonally where you have two triangles, or right down the middle where you have two kind of rectangles, her sandwiches were always cut like a little bit more to the left. So she would have a slice that was like 1.5 inches and then another slice that was about 3.5 inches. And I thought she just was like missing the mark, like she was kind of getting together in a hurry and cutting it off center. But I noticed this happen every single day. So I was like, Amy Lynn, what is going on with your sandwiches? And she's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you. I think it started as an accident, but she said, okay, I'm going to give you this hack. You're never going to make a sandwich the same way again. So if you cut the sandwich so that one side is a little bit bigger, and then you eat the small side of the sandwich first. Once you've eaten it, you see you have so much sandwich left. And it feels like the best thing in the world. It's a very strange, very small, but simple psychological hack. Because you're like, I just ate half the sandwich. But then your eyes see, no, there's so much more. This is what I mean by an abundant lunch. It's a romantic lunch. The caveat is that you have to eat the smaller side first. If you do it the other way, it has the exact inverse effect. But once you do this, it really is special. Like, it feels like a little gift for yourself. And I can't say anything more except it's exciting to have more sandwich left.
It's a sandwich boost.
And it's funny because sometimes the line would be so far where it was like almost to the crust on one side. We kind of joked about it.
She wanted more sandwich boost at that time.
For whatever reason, she needed more boost in her life. But just off center, doesn't have to be all the way to the edge. Just do it and see what it does for you. I promise you won't look at a sandwich the same way.
It might be good to wrap them each separately then, like with little parchment paper.
You could do that. You could do that. I always did it together.
Oh, I'm getting hungry now.
It just works.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So my next idea is to think about the sauces and spices. These are flavor enhancers that can really boost your lunch. I bought small containers, which you can find at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, small little containers that you could put your ketchups in or bachan sauce, whatever fun sauce you like to make your pasta or whatever you're bringing for lunch even better. I also really like everything but the bagel seasoning. Now, this is at Trader Joe's. It's everywhere. They have everything but the bagel seasoning, everything you can imagine. But the actual seasoning is really easy to just throw into my lunch bag and just add it to the hummus or, for a little bit of crunch, add it wherever I want it. And it makes the lunch, that much better.
So we've talked mostly about the food itself and the things around your food. I want to suggest that you give some thought to what you're going to be doing while you eat. So sometimes, it is enough to just sit in a nice location and enjoy your food and the taste of it, mindfulness, all of that. But it's also nice to have some entertainment sometimes. So this is assuming you're eating by yourself, or maybe it's even making a plan if you want to share your lunch with somebody, your lunchtime, kind of planning ahead of time and asking a person to enjoy lunch with you, or, if there's a certain book or article you want to read, I really enjoy kind of looking forward to what I'm going to do at lunch. So the times when I actually have a plan and know, oh, I'm going to be reading this book, that feels really exciting versus the times when I get to lunch and I'm thinking of like, well, what can I be doing now? The default for me is always like, oh, should I get stuff done? Am I going to make this call to the doctor? It's like, is this going to be a productive lunch or is this going to be a relaxing lunch? So if we're thinking about romanticizing your lunch, I would err on the side of leisure and entertainment and really set yourself up for that. So make sure you have the book that you want or whatever, the show downloaded that you're going to watch, the article put aside, whatever it is, so that you can really just dig in when that time comes up and you're not just spinning your wheels figuring out what to do.
Might I suggest listening to the Happier Ladies? That might be a nice lunchtime activity. Just a suggestion. My next suggestion is sparkling water and a variety of flavors. By the way, at the top, I forgot to mention an ice pack, a substantial ice pack so you can keep everything nice and chilled. And it is a great time for sparkling water, people. There are so many fun flavors of sparkling water, and it makes me so happy. And yes, every shopping trip buy different flavors of sparkling water that if I haven't tried them before, even better. So get creative, get adventurous, try different cans of sparkling water for your lunch. It's a little flavor boost that, is exciting. And again, can you tell that I'm a novelty lover?
Yes.
This might be skewing towards novelty. Maybe you don't like different flavors. Get the flavor you like. Maybe you want to get, the same flavor every time. That's also okay. But there's something nice about having a can of sparkling water to go with your lunch that just elevates the whole experience.
Very nice. So I think it's important to have thought through what you're going to do with your nice dishes after the meal. So you might have access to a kitchenette and a sink, and that's, easy peasy. You wash your dishes. I don't have a sink in my office except for the bathroom sink. So I don't really want to wash food dishes in there. That feels not quite right. So just planning ahead, have a plastic bag or something where you can put the dirty dishes in there or bring wipes that you can use, a paper towel that you wet to wipe it out and put it back into your nice lunchbox. Whatever it is, just having a plan for that so it's not like a bummer when you get to the end and you're left with all these dirty dishes.
Yes. And finally, a nice thing to have in your lunchbox also is hand sanitizer. This is another place where you can bring in a scent that you like, or, it could be a fruity scent or something more perfumey. So if you have hand sanitizer, you can use that before and then after your lunch. And also some mints because, who knows? Maybe you like garlic like I do. Good to have some mints for after, before you go into that next work meeting. And if that is just already in your lunchbox, what a lovely way to end your lovely meal.
I just want to go have lunch now. This is just put me in the mood.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go have lunch.
Listeners, let us know. How do you romanticize your lunch during the workday? We'd love to hear your tips and suggestions. And if you try any of these, if you try the sandwich hack, please let me know how it goes.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Our next segment is Take a Breath, where we share something that's feeding our soul.
So, Azizi, you had an experience this week that you wanted to share. What did you do?
So I went forest bathing for the first time.
What is forest bathing?
Okay. First of all, you're fully clothed.
Okay.
There's no actual bathing involved. So let's just get that out the way. No bathing. You're fully clothed. However, you are immersed in nature through mindfulness exercises and meditations that help you relax, and feel more connected to the natural world. And this is a Japanese concept that took off in the 90s as an antidote to hours spent at work and with tech and disconnected from nature. And in Japanese, it's called Shinrin Yoku, which translates to forest bathing. And this is from an article from Time magazine that I found. It says, it is an approach where you take the time to reconnect with nature, your body, your senses, feelings, and emotions. It has recently become one of the well appreciated techniques used to improve your mental health and wellness in an easy, well accessible way for anyone, anywhere around the world.
What happened and where did you go to do this?
I signed up for a full moon forest bath, which meant it was at sunset from 8 to 10 p.m. on a Friday. And it was at the Arboretum, and they offer forest bathing maybe once or twice a month. By the way, the Arboretum is a beautiful botanical garden in Arcadia that is run by Los Angeles County. So it's super reasonable to get in. It's open year round. It's a lovely grounds. And they offer classes, and one of them is forest bathing. So I knew that I wanted to do this as a part of my birthday month experience. But it was on Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. So I had to kind of convince myself to go. After a long day, but I told my husband I was going. I told my daughter I was going. So I made it happen. I went by myself. And when I got there, I was signed in and I was with a group of about 20 other people. Now, what was beautiful about it is that these were all kinds of people. There were people that were there alone, people who were couples, people who were there with friends, clearly. There were all races, different ages. It was an interesting group, very diverse group. And what I thought it was going to be, because I didn't know very much about it going into it, I sort of went in blind just knowing that, well, I like the Arboretum. I like being in nature. I'm going to give it a try. I thought it was going to be a hike, but it was actually more seated meditations being guided by the instructor. There were some walking meditation. And then there was just time where you tuned into your senses and explored areas of the park in silence and in the dark because it was nighttime. And at one point we were led into this enclosure that was sort of surrounded by trees. These branches kind of came together at the top to make it feel like you were kind of in a cave. And you were instructed to communicate with the trees and to sort of get to know the trees. And this, it sounds bananas when I say it out loud, but it was so beautiful and so peaceful. And in the end, I realized it was sort of like camping and also like being a child exploring. It's hard to describe, but it felt so relaxing. And it ended with, apparently this is how they usually end, with some tea. So the instructor handed out cups of hot chocolate peppermint tea. And you were instructed to, look out at the moon, which actually it was very overcast. So you couldn't see. Unfortunately, we couldn't see the moon. But, just looking out at the sky was such a nice, calm way to end.
Wow. That sounds incredible. I love that. I want to commune with the trees. That just sounds like delightful and fun. And it seems really nice that it was a guided experience, because I could imagine just walking around myself and not necessarily knowing what to do or getting distracted, but the fact that somebody's actually taking you on this step by step sounds really helpful.
Yeah. And there are courses that you take to be a guide, a certified guide. And so she was instructing us about what forest bathing means and what the steps are generally. And so I got the sense that the way she was guiding us, if I was to take a different class, it would be very similar exercises that we would be led through. And at one point, as we were sitting and she was walking us through these ways of engaging with our senses, I almost fell asleep. Like I felt myself kind of doze off. I had to quickly kind of come back again, but that's how relaxing and melodic it was. And the other thing is, when I go to the Arboretum or when I go to the Huntington, when I'm in nature, I usually am listening to something. I'm usually listening to music or I'm talking with someone. I don't usually go, in silence, or there's just a lot of chatter and things going on around me. But this was after the park was closed. It was very quiet. All you could hear were peacocks in the distance. And I think all of that, not being on your phone, not having to worry about who's around you or what you're going to say, all of that kind of added to making it a more relaxing experience.
So would you do it again?
Absolutely. It felt like a treat. It was a 2-hour experience. Sometimes they're 3 hours. And it just felt like I left so relaxed for the rest of the day or the rest of the evening.
All 2
It was
hours.
late by the time I got home, but it was a very relaxing drive home. And this guide, she leads forest bathing at the
Oh.
beach. And that is something that I want to try next. So I'm all in and I highly recommend it.
So it's not exclusive to trees.
No, it's just nature.
I see.
It's about being in nature. It's not exclusive to trees, but because we were around trees,
Yes.
she did talk about how the trees communicate with each other. And there's a lot of research about this now.
Yes.
And there's also a lot of research, by the way, about how being in nature improves your health. And so this exercise actually is documented to improve your health if you engage in it more often. So I definitely will. I'm going to add it to my list of things that are a treat for me. So let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll go over our peaks and valleys. Okay, we're back. And Malika is up with a peak.
I'm going to recommend a podcast that has been making me happier called I Love My Kids, But. So I'll read a little bit of their blurb. This podcast is a weekly escape where comedians Megan Gailey, Kurt Braunohler, Chris Garcia, and guests unload about the joys and challenges of being a parent, all the hell their kids put them through, and how they might reclaim some of the glory of their pre-parenting life. So this show is just very funny. And these three comedians, I think their kids range from like 18 months to 5 years old. So it's a very specific kind of life stage. And I like that it's very raw. This is not a family podcast. They're really...
You don't listen with the kids?
No. And, the title is I Love My Kids, But. So the premise is that everybody loves their children. And then they're just venting. But they're comedians. So it's very funny and very real. And it just feels so relatable, the things that they talk about. And they have a guest comedian every episode. There's sometimes it's very moving too. So they're just talking about things that are hard or confounding.
Yeah.
And there's also the poignancy. And so it's not just venting, dumping, but it feels really somehow uplifting and just, I feel so seen when I listen to that podcast. Sometimes their guests have much older kids, they're reminiscing. I think it's appropriate for any parents, but especially like at the end of the day, commuting home, or sometimes I don't want to listen to a productivity thing, which is often what I'm listening to. I just want to laugh, and they totally do it. So I recommend that highly.
It's always nice to know when there are other people in it with you.
Yes.
Things that tell you you're not alone.
Yes.
You're not the only one having these feelings. That always feels good.
Yes. So what is your valley, Azizi?
Okay, this is more a cry for help.
Oh.
My linen closet is a mess. And the specific issue about my linen closet is that I don't know what size the sheets are that are in there. We had a queen size bed. We went up to a king size bed, which is great. And I bought a couple of sets of sheets, but they look similar to the other sheets. And then when it's time to change the sheets, I don't know what's what. I don't know what's a queen. I don't know what's a king. And it's small. This is not a real problem. This is a very small problem, but I need a system. I don't know. How do people do this? How do you know what goes with what?
I think you need some labels.
Do you have labels on your sheets?
No, but I have run into this issue too, because we have a king size bed and a queen size bed. I've started putting them in different places.
So you have multiple linen closets?
Well, the queen size stuff is like in the guest room where that will be used.
Right.
But one thing that I did learn from Martha Stewart is the hack of putting a sheet set in a pillowcase. So everything, the top sheet, the fitted sheet, and the other pillowcases are in that pillowcase. You can kind of fold it nicely. but then you need to put it somewhere where you know what it is. There's no other way to tell.
Like, is the pillowcase a different size then? Can you tell by the pillowcase?
It needs to be in a basket that's labeled king size linens
Yeah.
or on a shelf that's labeled.
I mean, I don't have a guest room. I don't have a lot of shelf space. I have a closet and I need to figure out how to make it work there. So then what needs to happen is the person who's putting it away has to put it away in the same place.
Or you just got new sheets, so you might not want to upgrade, but you get totally different colors and patterns. So you know the blue sheets are always the king.
Yeah.
How can
That
you
would have been a
tell?
great opportunity, but it's too late for that now. And the thing is, when you open it up and you look at it, they all look the same. You don't actually know until you try to put it
Yeah,
on.
that's frustrating for everybody.
Yes. All right. Oh, we spent enough time talking about this. It's not a real problem.
It's a real problem.
Now thank you. Thank you. And listeners, I need help. If you have ideas, please send them.
It's a
Thank
real
you.
problem. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I'm going to try the sandwich hack. I don't usually pack a sandwich, but I'm going to pack a sandwich. I'm going to cut it in this funny way and see if it makes me happier.
All right.
What about you, Malika?
I think I will get into hacks. I really have missed it. So I'm glad the third season is back, and I think I want to dip a toe in.
Oh, it's good.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you like us, rate, review, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com and tell us something you liked about Happier and Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
And we also want to give a special shout out to Gretchen Rubin, Liz Kraft, and Sarah Fain for inspiring our conversation each week.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Azizi. Have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Malika.
Bye.
Bye.
So Azizi.
Malika, how was... We always get that one wrong. Go ahead.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.